Welcome to Injustice Media. I'm your host, Gucci J. And today in this one, we're going to talk about my case, prison nightmare of a young footballer caught up in the Birmingham Riots. So this was back in 2011, where Mark Duggan was shot unarmed by armed police. Yeah, rest in peace. Um, Rest in peace, man. Mark Duggan. But yeah, man, I'm gonna talk about what happened with me and my events and everything, the injustice. So let's look at this video. Let's go.
Good evening. Fires are burning across large parts of London tonight as more serious violence breaks out on the streets of the capital for the third night in a row. The latest trouble started in Hackney in the east of the city late this afternoon before spreading to Lewisham, Peckham, and now in the last hour to Croydon in South London.
Yeah, that's what happened. It just spread it everywhere, man. Spread it all around London, and then it spread to Birmingham, and then all around the UK. It was mad. I remember this night in Birmingham, man. It's crazy.
And these are the latest pictures live from Croydon, where a furniture store has been ablaze for at least an hour now. For the first time since the trouble began on Saturday, the violence has also flared outside the capital in Birmingham. The Home Secretary, Theresa May, has called the attacks sheer criminality and said those behind it will be brought to justice. In the last hour, it has been confirmed that the Prime Minister, David Cameron, is cutting short his holiday and flying home tonight. Our first report is from our Home Affairs correspondent, June Kelly.
The smoke is a signal of the mayhem in the distance. The death of a man in one part of London has triggered a wave of violence in neighbourhoods in the north and south of the capital. In Hackney, the disturbances began in the early evening. The police said they would have more officers on the streets of London tonight, and here they moved in force. So all around this area, the cordons are now going up. For the second night running, we've got copycat acts of violence. This is what the police feared, what they're calling pure criminality.
Saying this is what they feared, criminality, but police have been getting away with unlawful murders. You've been shooting and murdering people for no reason, just because you're trigger happy. You shot a man, but they have a gun. You know what I mean? There's other ways you could have gone about the situation. You didn't have to kill him in it. And then obviously this is the consequence of the actions. Cause the police are held to a high standard, so they can't be go around shooting innocent black men.
This group are looting an off-licence, one of them carrying away a whole box full of drink, a shopkeeper's livelihood slowly being removed. And tonight, to the south of London, this was Croydon, a furniture store in flames. And this was the view of one local eyewitness.
They don't care. I've never seen such a disregard for human life. Nice little anarchists. I hope they have a nice little party. I hope they rot in hell. Because the grief they have caused people, the fear they've put in people's hearts, decent people who have done nothing to anyone, and the fear in them.
Yeah, hear what you say, man. Yeah, man. A lot of people getting hit with strays, and a lot of people are not involved, and the life are getting turned upside down. You know what I mean? I don't condone any violence. You get me? But the police, the way they went about the situation and shooting and murdering young black men all the time and getting away with it. This is like, you know what I mean? This is the kind of response what happens, man, when they do stuff they don't follow the rules and policies and procedures. Like everything goes lawless. People think, yo, I'm not gonna say the F word, but F that, they're doing this, they're doing that, we're gonna do this, we're gonna, you know what I mean? Move mad.
is an area which is miles from the shooting which has triggered this unimagined spiral of violence.
Let's be absolutely clear that there is no excuse for violence, there is no excuse for looting, there is no excuse for thuggery.
Remember this, Theresa May, the Home Secretary. Raw. She young back then, man.
The police will obviously deal with any emerging situations as they consider best appropriate for those situations. But I am absolutely clear there is no excuse for looters or thuggery or violence on the streets.
In Peckham, a clothes store was being turned over, people helping themselves as others looked on. A bus was burnt out.
Man went like, not gonna lie, man took it too far still. You get me? Burning down buses and that, like, man took it too far. But I can see, you get me, the anger and the outrage what the police done. You know what I mean? But yo, crazy still. Crazy.
Police were guarding a supermarket, but they couldn't stop a pharmacy being attacked. And from the country's most senior police officer, an appeal for help in stopping the law breaking.
We have a lot of police officers on duty, but I do urge now that parents start contacting their children and asking where their children are. There are far too many spectators who are getting in the way of the police operations to tackle criminal thuggery and burglary. And I'm imploring that people within those communities actually start clearing the streets to enable my police officers to deal with the criminality that is occurring in front of them.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but you need to sort out the police what are killing innocent black people, mate. That's what you need to do. You need to root out all these corrupt police officers. You know what I mean? You need to mention some stuff about police following the policies, procedures, and not being trigger happy to shoot innocent people. That's what you need to do. And then obviously, if you tackled that and you spoke about that more, then like all these rioting and all this madness, what's happening, wouldn't be happening. So you have to look at the source as well.
In a development which will alarm police and politicians, tonight the trouble moved outside London. This was Birmingham, vandals and looters out in the city centre. Social media has played a massive part in the spread of information. Police have warned that anyone...
So I'm saying it started in London and it spread it to Birmingham, like madness. It's crazy, man. But this is all the police's fault, man. It's all the police is doing in it. The injustice, you know what I mean? The injustice of killing unarmed young black men, white, Asian, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what race, but a lot of the killings are young, unarmed black men. And obviously, these are the consequences of what's happening. And it's spreaded all around the country. But obviously, I'm trying to cover Birmingham. Obviously, London, it started. I'm trying to cover Birmingham car. I'm going to go into what happened with me.
One inciting violence through social networking sites could face prosecution. The technology company BlackBerry has said it will try to assist the authorities in tracking down the troublemakers. A fatal shooting by police last Thursday has become the trigger for an unimagined chain of destruction. The sense of crisis is underlined by the Prime Minister's decision to cut short his holiday and return home. June Kelly, BBC News.
Well, the
Yeah, it's madness back then. Yeah, man. And then we get to this article, man. Prison nightmare of a young footballer caught up in the Birmingham riots. Young Birmingham footballer who had hoped for a professional career in the game has told of his prison nightmare after being accused of taking part in the riots a year ago. Yeah, man. I got arrested and thrown in prison for the riots. They said I was involved. It was an injustice, man. School. A young Birmingham footballer who is hoping for a professional career in the game has told of his prison nightmare after being accused of taking part in the riots a year ago. Jamal Thomas, 21, of Kings Norton, hopes one day to play for Aston Villa and England and has attended training weekend organised by the FA. Yeah, so I had training that day, you know what I mean, with Aston Villa at the ground. This is I have some pictures. Here's some pictures. Aston Villa. This is when like my dad training at Aston Villa Stadium. Under that's my manager Nigel. You know what I mean? I was going training at Aston Villa playing football, man. Let's go back to the article. So if I can find it, where's it gone? Is it gone off? Move that. Yeah, it's gone up. 1 minute. Let's sort out this screen. My bad. Let's sort this out. Yeah. So Jamal Thomas, 21. Well, 21 back then, 21 of Kings Norton, hopes one day to play for Aston Villa and England and has attended a training weekend organised by the FA, but a 5-minute encounter with a mass acu- accutant accuing oh, can't even pronounce it, my bad, during the riots. Probably like someone I know in it, but I can't even pronounce it. What's it called, man? Acquaintance. Sorry about that, man. I wasn't good at spelling and reading, man, when I was younger. But acquaintance during the riots on August the 8th linked him into an ugly disturbance. Jamal said he had not been aware of the trouble brewing as he made his way home from football training through the city centre. It was only when he saw cops blocking off the road that he discovered looters and thugs were ramping through the streets. Let's go down. Get trying to go down to the next part. Yep, through the streets. Yet the father of one was arrested and appeared at Birmingham Magistrates Court on a charge of burglaring Bebo Cafe. He was remanded in custody and whilst in prison, he has said he was forced to share a cell with a violent drug dealer. So yeah, man, back then, walking through town, house on bottles, speaking to people that I know, gave back the bottles, went on my way, and then what you call it, the bottles were found in a cafe. So what happened was when they arrested me, they took off, my mum ran me angry, cussing. Show you the picture. Took off my mum's door. That's the picture. They took off the door like hammer. Boom! Licked off the door. Door gone. Get me ran in there. And this was on ITV live, ITV news. So licked off my mum's door. Bare police running in there. Ah, shouting. You get me? ITV news. I didn't know, I wasn't even there. I was at training, and then what you call it, next day, I'm getting bare missed calls, bare messages like your mum's house is on ITV News and da da da, and what's going on? I was like, raw, mum's house on ITV News. What's this about? Then mum's rang me. Mum's like, what you did? Why is police running in my house? They mashed up the door, da da da, going nuts. You get me? And then got a phone call, and then went to the police station. That's if they was looking for me. They said, no, we're not looking for you. Da, da, da. Then got a phone call by ITV saying, yeah, we want to make a story about the riots, and I don't know what was going on. Told me, oh, meet us by the mailbox. So I went to the mailbox, car park, and then armed police jumped out on me. Madness. Handcuffed me. And they were celebrating. Police were celebrating, slapping each other's hands and whatnot. Put me in the police van. Took me to police station. I can't even remember which one it was, which police station they took me to. I don't know. Don't know, could be Smethwick. I think it's Smethwick police station they took me to in Birmingham. Took me to Smethwick police station now. And then yeah, solicitor came to see me, and I was like, oh, they found your DNA. I said, my DNA? I said, what you on about? So yeah, they're not telling us what it was, but they're saying they found your DNA. If you cut yourself or if you spat in the premises, da da da. I'm like, what you on about, man? I ain't spat or cut myself, or what you on about? So I was like, what happened? I said, I was walking through town, how bottle speak to my friend, gave it back. And he goes, oh, that's what it is then. So we went in there, you get me, interviewing room. And then the police are smiling, happy, and it's just weird. And it was like, we found your DNA, mate. You might as well own up for what you did, burgling, da da da. I was like, huh? I said, this is what happened. Walking through town, come back from training, gave the bottles. My friend was walking, calling me Bourbon with my son. What's his name? No comment. Not saying his name. You do the job. I'm not doing your job for you. And then held the bottles, gave it to me to hold. He was talking. He's tying his lace, chatting to them, giving the back the bottles. I went on my way. He went on his way. And apparently the bottles were found in this what you call it, cafe. Get this up, man. Get this up. Is it up already? Oh no, I need to take this down. Yeah, so the bottles were found in this cafe, Beeble Cafe. Oh, it's doing this again, man. Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's found in the cafe, and then they was moving mad. What color was the bottle? What shape was it? Who is your friend? Ah, no comment, no comment. Stuck the tape. They was angry. They was pissed. You get me? They're thinking like, yo, this guy's going jail. Try to give me an injustice. Then took me back to my cell, and then sister went. I'm thinking I'm going home. Officers open the door, and says, "You're going to court in the morning, and you're getting remanded." Prime Minister said anyone arrested for writing is not getting bail. Slammed the door. So boom, just echoing. When like it's an empty room, you slam them big prison doors. It goes freaking raw. Yo, what the hell? Madness. Then went to court. Yeah, and then spoke to my barrister at the time. I think it was no, I'm not even gonna say their names, but yeah, man, spoke to them at the time, and then went into court, and then they said he was arrested for burglary um, in a cafe. Judge said straight remanded me. sent me to HMP Nottingham. So I was remanded in HMP Nottingham. It was mad, but I'm going to carry on reading this. Let's go. He was remanded to custody while I was in prison. He said he was forced to share a cell with a violent drug dealer. So when I was in prison, I thought I'd never been in prison before, and it back then, like, never went prison. And man's on remand for some nonsense. You get me? And there's a guy in there. No one wants to pad up with him. It's just moving mad. You get me? You know them geezers what move mad and cut themselves, and you get me? Act crazy. Jail's a dangerous place. You get me? Forced me to share a cell with a big man. How old was I? I was 20. I was 20. 29. I was 19 or 20. I can't remember. I was 19 or 20 at the time, innit? They sent me to a big man jail, but I can't remember the age. Probably 18, the youngest she has to be. But yeah, they sent me there. And yeah, I was on remand. Jamal said he was finally released after his auntie put up 10,000 bail money. Yeah, my auntie, man, my auntie Law, auntie Cass put £10,000 bail money, man, for me to get bail. And just weeks later, the prosecution service, CPS, dropped the charge against him, informing Jamal that the matter was not being taken any further. It's been a complete nightmare, Jamal said, as I was walking along and a gang of 500 was walking towards me. One of the masked men shouted my name. Didn't know who he was because he was wearing a mask, but it turned out it was someone I knew. I started having a chat with him, and he tried to get me to join, but I told him I won't get involved in anything like that. I was talking to him about football, and he was holding two glass bottles. At one point, he asked me to hold them for him while he tied his shoelace, so I did because I thought nothing of it. Afterwards, I handed the bottles back to him and said I had to be on my way. I carried on walking and went home. Jamal said the bottles was later found at a crime scene, and fossil testing found his fingerprints on the glass. Sorry. The next day, he got a phone call from his mom, who began shouting at him. The police had broken down her door on a raid, and they were looking for me. He said they were asking where I was, and if she didn't tell them, they would prosecute her. I thought it was just a misunderstanding. After training, I went straight to Stillhouse Lane police station and told them that officers had been looking for me, but they said I wasn't on the system and there wasn't a warrant out for my arrest. I was confused and wondering what is going on. The next day, Jamal was arrested and interviewed by police. Still baffled, he told them he had not been involved in the riots. When they told him his parents had been sorry, when I told him his prints had been found on a bottle, he realized a tremendous mistake had been made. I explained what happened. He said, but I still had to appear in court. A long time ago, I was court for throwing stones at cars, and they brought that up. I was 13 years old at the time and realized it was the wrong thing to do. Yeah, that's when I was a kid growing up in Handsworth. We used to have stone fights, me and my friends, by the tram station in Handsworth, throwing stones. We used to throw stones at cars, messing about, and I got arrested for that. Jamal said he was remanded in custody, stripped naked, and made to put on a prison uniform. Yeah, man. The way they move, it was mad, you know. Go to prison for the first time, say, take off your clothes. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take it off. And no, take them off. So they're standing there in front of you, you know. So you have to take off your top. There's two officers standing there, and then an officer standing behind. They take off your top, and then they fill the top. So I don't know if I got a top around. Nah, but yeah, they take off the top, fill the top in that, and they give it to the over officer. They say, take off your vest. So you take off your vest, they fill the vest. Then they say, take off your trousers. You take off your trousers, they fill your trousers. Then they say, take off your boxers. You mean take off my boxers? Cut? No, take them off. You get me? You don't get to shake them. They don't give you nothing to cover. Yes, take off your boxers, innit? Look at your boxers. Then they're like, oh, lift your balls, cough, and pull your foreskin back. I said, nah. And then that's when I try get aggressive, come close. So you're hiding something, da. You get me? Then I tell you to turn around, and then you have to squat naked. They get you to squat, and then they get you to lift your feet up. And you lift your feet up, then they tell you to open your mouth, look in your mouth, look behind your ears, feel your hair, if you've got long hair, to see if anything's in there. And then they give you a prison issue clothes and tell you to pull it on. Yeah, where was we? Jamal said he was remanded in custody, stripped naked, and made to put on prison uniform. It was very degrading. Jamal said they ended up putting me in a cell with a man who had stabbed someone, who smoked weed, and we argued a lot. He was disgusting and I didn't like it. His papers are funny, you know. I didn't even say it like that, but this is what they do. Is that it? Let's see if there's any more. That might be it, you know. I'm gonna see. That can't be it. Sorry. Yeah, there must be more. Let me keep scrolling. Yeah, so yeah, there's more. I went back to court again, and the same things were said. My my aunt put up 10,000 bail. Luckily, the court accepted it, so I didn't go back to prison. More than 2 weeks later, a letter arrived from the CPS saying they had discontinued the charge of burglary other than dwelling with intent to commit damage. He faced no other charges. A CPS spokesman said, as part of our duty to keep cases under review, upon receipt of further information, we dropped the charge against Mr. Thomas as there was sorry man, can't even pronounce what is going on. Insufficient insufficient evidence for a realistic prospect of a conviction. Yeah, so obviously they dropped the charges because I knew it's bullshit. They couldn't even say you get me. They made a mistake. Obviously, I know what the evidence would have been. So you get me. That's what happened to me. Birmingham riots. Yeah, man. And then what you call it? I was given compensation. So that's where is it? Had to give me compensation. Don't know if it's come up. Hopefully it's come up. Yeah, that's give me compensation for the riots. Saying I was involved in the riots when I weren't. Trying to find. Yeah. So they had to give me £1,493 compensation for the riots. You know what I mean? Gave me a check. West Midlands Police. It was a madness. But yeah, man. That's what happens, man, when the police do things they're not meant to and cause an injustice. They get sued. So they had to pay compensation. But I wanted to take them to court. I wanted to see someone get prosecuted. You get me, for keeping me in jail for 2 weeks. But I got compensation. But yeah, man, that's my little story about the Birmingham riots and what happened, and the riots, what happened all around the UK. But obviously, I didn't touch on Manchester, Liverpool, and everywhere else. I just stuck to like Birmingham and London type of thing. But yeah, man, that's what happened back then. Yeah, it's mad. Rest in peace, Mark Duggan. Well, sadly lost his life. But yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. See you on the next one.